Medical intervention. We don't have that much medical equipment we can carry. This is this is from special ops. Just like the special ops side, the tactical scenario dictates your medical interventions. All right. Protect the casualty from additional injuries. This is the part that I really like. Keep the team engaged in neutralizing the threat, minimize public harm, and control massive bleeding. It said, remain tactically supreme. I like that. Tactically supreme. All right, so good stuff. So what do we do here in this hot zone? Think CAT tourniquets. This is from the civilian side. This is another reason that the recovery position's back in there. All right, and then this is my acronym for you guys, and I teach this during my class. Set and RACE stands for return fire. The A is ask that casualty to move to cover or concealment. And the E is an extremity tourniquet. All right, so that's all we're doing under that hot phase. So we can gather information if someone's stuck out in the open. Hey, where did the shot come from? What did it look like? What direction? Do you have any cover? This is the time when you can do a remote assessment and tell them, hey, do you have your first aid kit? Take out your tourniquet. Remember you got a tourniquet. I mean, if you just got shot, you might lose some of that up here. Remind them, hey, you've got your first aid kit. Go ahead and take it out and use it. Crawl behind that car right there. All right? So that's what we can do under direct threat, that hot zone. This is a little flow chart I made just so people that think like this, return fire, take cover, ask casualty to move, extract, stop massive bleeding via tourniquet, move casualty to a safer area of operation. All right, here's the warm zone. We can do everything. ABCs, so airway, breathing, circulation. We can do jaw thrust, NPA, needle decompression if you're me, control the bleeding, and keep them warm. All right, so everything basically under there. Here is the flow chart for that. So don't forget, assure cover concealment, disarm casualty, hopefully get to more advanced care, stop massive bleeding with tourniquets or hemostatic agents, NPA recovery position, and seal sucking chest wounds, and then try to get them to the evacuation phase. That's the time and place to do that. All right, so evacuations that March, we're going to reassess. We're going to do head to toe, and you can do anything and everything in this phase because that level of threat's been reduced and we're getting them to the hospital on the way. So this first, let's see, current doctrine for DOD, DOJ, and I used to say that it's emerging doctrine for you guys operating within the United States. I think that's pretty true, and that's straight from USASOC again. All right, this is a good bullet right here. You guys are basically the bridge between me getting on scene when you're out there. You're treating yourself, you're treating your buddy, or John Q. Public, then I'm coming up and taking over, and I'm the bridge between you guys and definitive care at the hospital. So the fastest method for moving a wounded officer is dragging the long axis of the body. I'm going to show you some moves, drags, and carries. But first of all, I'd like to talk about this little acronym here, SLEDM. That's how you move somebody, SLEDM. Pretty ingenious, huh? So speed, what do you have to do to be speedy? Well, first thing you have to do is have some sort of plan available. Limit your time on the X. Where's the X? The point of wounding, wherever you are. So we want to limit the time there. So it says 4 to 7 seconds. Does that ring a bell with any of you guys? What's 4 to 7 seconds? Why 4 to 7? How long does it do what?
Reload time.
Not reload time, but you're close. I mean, they've done studies and know that to draw a bead on someone, it takes approximately 4 to 7 seconds. So you want something fast that you can get out there and hook up or grab them and get out of harm's way. So effective force. Small muscles versus large muscles. If we use small muscles and we're dragging somebody with our hands and our forearms, everyone's going to get tired except for Alan. Okay, so you're using those small muscles. Why not use big muscles? Why not use your hamstrings, your buttocks, your bigger muscles? So I'm going to show you some tricks on utilizing that. Decrease drag coefficient. Well, what do I mean here? If we decrease that drag coefficient or body surface contact points, I can make them move easier. There's a whole scientific study, and I'm going to share two things with you. A head-first drag. If you drag someone head-first, you want their torso to be between 22 and 35 degrees elevation. That reduces the most body surface contact points. If you're pulling someone feet first, you want their legs between 10 and 15 degrees because that gives you less body surface contact points. All right? Engage direct threat or that care under fire. So what do we do here? How can we keep that weapon up? It's great debate whether or not you should have a weapon up and moving someone. Can you really be effective? Maybe, maybe not, but you can suppress someone. You can keep their head down, and or you can look like a badass saying, man, he's dragging a casualty with one hand, he's got his long gun up or his short gun up. I'm going to show you some of those tricks. And then momentum. You think about the most commonly taught drag is like a vest drag. All right, so you're grabbing someone's vest. What are you doing? You're using small arms, you're displacing your body armor, and you're taking small steps. You don't have good momentum where you can walk like this. You get that momentum, and you're going to help decrease that drag coefficient. So I'm going to show you some of those handmade and pre-made systems that we can use. In December, I'm on a national focus committee, and we're trying to standardize casualty movement techniques for law enforcement, EMS, and the fire service across the nation. These are the 4 we came up with. They're going to change the names because they don't like anything specific like Hawes and SEAL Team 3. So those are the 4 I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how to utilize these casualty movement techniques, and then we'll talk about some of the advanced stuff quickly, okay? So with that said, all right, let's come to the back. I'm going to leave this screen up so I can show you the fore and aft, the side-by-side, the SEAL Team 3, and the Hawes. So the fore and aft, what we're doing is we're putting one man behind, one man in front. That classic picture of Virginia Tech where they're each having an extremity, that's a waste of all that people. Okay, they're 4 extremities, no one pulling security, they didn't know where Cho was. That person had a femur fracture from a round that went through here, and they're carrying them by the end of their legs. Do you think they could fit through a trailer door like that? There's no way, because all 4 of them, they'd have to turn sideways and do one of these numbers. So I'm going to show you a way that we can go the same way in a small area. Would you sit right here for me? You guys come around the front towards the camera side so I can show you one of these techniques so I can lock him in. So the federal agents and the military, some of their PT tests, you have to drag someone. So a lot of guys, for time's sakes, come in here, do this number, and they pick up and they go. All right, if they're sweaty or bloody, you're going to slip out and move. So there's a couple different ways that you can make sure that this doesn't happen. I've seen people say, you know, cross your arms, and they grab their forearms like when you guys are doing your POPAT. I mean, this is where this stuff comes in. So what I'm going to do is grab his wrist, and I'm going to make himself hug himself. Now I can stand up with him if I had to drag him by myself, and he's not going to slip away. It's relatively easy for me. It doesn't hurt him. He's locked in. All right, stand up. So now what I'm going to do is go back down, is have someone else come up to the front. If you have a long weapon, watch your muzzle. If you're slinging it, keep it in the front. You're going to come down here, start with his pant legs. We're going to coordinate our up. 1, 2, 3, up. And as soon as they come up, you need to transition back and get underneath the crook of his legs. It's more comfortable, and you guys are going to see this when you do it on each other. Would you come get his pant legs? So I'm getting this grip here. 1, 2, 3, up. All right, now we can move forward, and we can go through small stairs, doors, so on and so forth. Make sense? Go ahead, you can let his legs down. All right, so that fore and aft, good way to move someone. Officer rescue, we're putting someone in the back of the car. We're coming out with the cruiser. Instead of him facing this way, the cruiser's behind us. I'm going to get him like so. He's going to pick up his legs, and it's called the pancake. It's really close to the fore and aft. I'm going to back into the cruiser, fall in. He's going to pancake on top of him. And we can put him in the car relatively quickly. Make sense? All right. So we'll do that and the side-by-side. Side-by-side is great for SWAT teams that have a Bearcat, that have a van, or you're putting someone in a trunk or up on a platform like a helicopter. So what we're going to do on the side-by-side is we're going to come up, and all we're going to do is I'm doing like an arm bar underneath his armpit, and we're grabbing the crook of his legs. 1, 2, 3. Up. And we can throw him in the trunk. We can throw him in the SWAT van, forward or backwards. All right? Relatively fast. So you guys SWAT monkey this. Fore and aft, partner up in the side-by-side, and then I'll show you the next two.
Hey, run that door. Run that door. You feel comfortable having this car? Right here, like this.
That's it. The back person doing the fore and aft. You want their weight as close to you as possible so you don't injure yourself. So really make them hug themselves, and then when you lift up, basically your weight should be back here in your heels, and you're almost going up, almost like you did, to the point where you feel a little unsteady, and then you go forward. So that's the feeling you should get. That's how you keep that weight close. That fore and aft, or that lift that I showed you like this, I use on little old people. I mean, we have a lot of people that fall and they're undressed, and it's they're slippery, so it's hard to get up. Yes, they get close to you, or you can do the side-by-side. All right, they don't have any clothes on, they're nasty, they got crap all over them. You can come in, pick them up, and put them on a stretcher like that. So the SEAL Team 3, Dale, can we use you as the person? Because I want your feet to drag. You're going to face this way. Everyone come around this way. Alan, you're going to help me because you're relatively small too. So SEAL Team 3.
Very, very small.
Size-wise.
That's a cut.
Let's do Hammonds then.
So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you don't have to actually lift someone on this. It's more of a drag. So what we're going to do is, if I'm on this right side, I'm going to come under here, have my arm under here like so, and I can go up under his belt. If he doesn't have a belt on, I can reach in here and grab a handful of his cloth. He's going to do the same thing on that side. If he's left-handed, this is where we can get our weapons involved, okay? We get them up. You can draw your weapon or have a long gun and totally let go with your left hand. And we're just going to drag him. So Dale, your feet are going to drag on the ground, and we're just going to go forward.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's the SEAL Team 3. You can do this on someone who's totally unconscious. If they're on the ground, you can lift them up, get down here, put their arm around, 1, 2, 3, coordinate the up, and off you go. But you see it poses a problem if we had to go through the door. We're going to have to dance sideways. So maybe one of these other carries or drags. And then the last one is the hauls. I'm going to use him again. The smaller statued people or weaker, mostly the female agents that I've worked with in the past or in law enforcement, like this a lot. They use we're going to use our hips or our butt as a fulcrum, and I'm going to drag him. So what I'm going to do is come around like this. The important thing is to get your shoulders as close to their armpits so they're close to you. One hand, draw my weapon, stick my butt out, and I'm just dragging him. It's not the fireman's carry or his feet dragging.
Yep.
I can go anywhere relatively easy, and it doesn't get me out of breath. He's locked on. I could go a long way like this. But if I had to hoist him up on a fireman's carry, that's a lot of energy, a lot of time. The hawse drag. Alan, sit right here. So here's a transition for officer rescue. He's sitting in his patrol car, he's injured, he can't get out for some reason. I'm gonna come, pivot him sideways, sit down here on the floorboard, get his arms over, there's my microphone, lean him out of the car, and then transition into the hall. And I can take him away.
Fireman carry on now.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. So another way we can utilize that.